All About Beer receives underwriting support from Bright Ideas. They understand the importance of independent journalism in the beer space, and their support helps fund original work. Learn how you can affordably support journalists by visiting allaboutbeer.com/support.
I'm Josh Brengle of Service Center at Hercules, and this is the Brewer to Brewer podcast from All About Beer. My guest today is Tobias Zollo of Bayerische Staatsbrauerei Weinstefan, and he is here for a conversation that goes beyond the brew house and into topics that matter to brewing professionals and curious beer drinkers. First, please visit allaboutbeer.com and follow on social media All About Beer. To support journalism in the beer space, check out patreon.com/allaboutbeer. We'll get into this conversation in a moment, but first, this message.
I'm David Seiler from Stone's Throw Brewing in Charleston, South Carolina, and I use Malteurop because they have great products and customer service. The new warehouse has been an amazing upgrade to Malteurop service, which I really didn't think was even possible. The short turnaround time has been great for me. Being able to pivot and change brew days is crucial to any brewery. The ability to switch things at the end of the week, knowing I'll have grain within a couple of days for placing my order, means I can be much more fluid with my brew days. It has severely decreased my anxiety as a planner, and less stress is such a great feeling. Contact Malteurop today and visit malteuropmaltingco.com.
If there's one spice that brings winter warmth to beers of the season, it's cinnamon. First Tea is your source for cinnamon, ginger, and other botanicals to make your season bright. Looking for other new seasonal ideas? Email info@firsttea.com. That's FIRSDTEA to find the right teas and botanicals for your next project.
Attention brewers, registration is now open for the 2025 Best of Craft Beer Awards. This is a BJCP sanctioned competition judged by fellow brewers and industry leaders. It uses a unique set of style guidelines that champions harmonious and dynamic beers. Held in beautiful Central Oregon, it's the third largest professional brewing competition in North America and is an opportunity to have your hard work evaluated and rewarded. In addition to traditional and specialty beer styles, new this year is the hop water category. Register your beers through January 31, 2025 by visiting bestofcraftbeerawards.com/register. Don't delay. Learn more and get your beers signed up by visiting bestofcraftbeerawards.com/register.
Okay, let's get into it. A bit about my guest today. In the year 2000, Tobias started his apprenticeship as brewer in Malster in Bavaria, where he gained 6 years of experience as a brewer. Between 2006 and 2008, he studied brewing and beverage technology at Domans and IHK in Munich. From 2008 to 2015, he worked as brewmaster at Feldschlösschen, the leading brewery in Switzerland. And since 2015, he has served as the head brewmaster at Bayerische Staatsbrauerei Weinstefan, or the Bavarian State Brewery of Weinstefan. Welcome, Tobias.
Hi, Josh.
Great to see you and great to be on here with you and yeah, it's been a couple years since I saw you, but thanks for doing this. I'm a huge fan of the brewery and what you guys do, and I think it's one of the best breweries in Bavaria. So yeah, that says a lot. I think there's so much good beer around you. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you for the introduction. So very short, the 20 years in less than a minute. So okay,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
No, it's great.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
that's it in a very short sequence. So yeah,
yeah,
hear you and thank you for the invitation, because that's right. Yeah, we are in contact since a couple of years, but to be honest, we just met once. When
Mhm.
you've been
Yep.
over in Europe to visit a few great breweries of the old world,
Mhm. Yeah,
and of course you can't miss Weinstefan. And then we met by coincidence, more or less. So
yeah.
we
I
contact and okay,
mm,
yeah, if there's a brewer over, so
mm,
I will never say no. I should
yeah.
more often no, because of, I don't know, work duties or family duties, but if there's a brewer, I can't say no. And I want to show the brewery and have a beer and have a talk about beer. And so that was great. And I think some friendship starts with that.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah,
always cool. Yeah.
yeah. It's been cool chatting with you occasionally, and yeah, I think it's been also a fun journey for me living in Mexico for this time. But I mean, let's talk a little bit about you. Was there a moment in your life that you, I mean, I know in Bavaria you usually grow up with beer very close to you, even from a young age. Was there some kind of beer or some brewery that you said, "Man, this is the beer. This is what I want to do." Was there a moment like that for you?
As I said, growing up in Bavaria, so every single tradition in Bavaria is connected to beer.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So that's why beer is everywhere. So you go to the beer garden, so there's a beer tent. So there's a festival because of beer or always with beer. So beer is everywhere. So it's in Bavaria, we always say it's not a I don't know how to say a food or something like that. It's the nutrition of the people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's a natural thing. So that sounds maybe weird for some people outside of Bavaria, but here it's everywhere. And that's why, I don't know, you grow up with that, and you like that, and you love the people seeing that and celebrating everything. And as a child, I was not interested in beer, of course, but maybe I know or I saw that people are always happy when they come together with these festivals and this things. And then when you grow up and you think about what you're doing after school, what do you want to work? And for me, it was very, very clear. I don't want to sit in the office the whole day or
Mm-hmm.
doing, I don't know. So I have a very respect for people handling numbers or I don't know, something like that. But it's nothing for me to
Mm-hmm.
sit the whole day in office. So it's important for, as always, of course, now as a brewmaster or responsible for the technical department here, you have to handle the numbers and calculation and the people and everything, and it's fun, but it's connected to beer, and we all have the same passion. And at that moment, I wanted to learn it from the very beginning. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I didn't choose to just study it. I wanted to learn it from the very bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So every bullshit you have to eat
Yeah,
to
it's
learn
important.
to learn
Mm-hmm.
it, and that helps me. Yeah, still now it helps
Mm-hmm.
to know how they
Mm-hmm.
do it. And in a craft industry or in a craft work, you have to know how the people has to do that if you
Mm-hmm.
wanna tell them how you should do that. So you also have to know how it's proper.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
being
good. And
being a
the
brewmaster
people
is
recognize that. The people recognize that if you
so being
know.
a brewmaster is
how-
not just a diploma, right? It's a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah, true. Because the theoretic thing is one, but the other thing
Mm-hmm.
is how to clean or how to in the practical daily work. There's a
Mm-hmm.
problem occurring, and they ask me, okay, why? Okay, theoretical, it can't be. Okay, it can't be.
Yeah.
But it
Right.
is now. What
Yeah.
should we do now? Okay,
Yeah.
had that before. Maybe we can do that or try that. Have you tried that? Oh, I never thought about that. How do you know? Yeah, I also worked as a brewer. We tried that one,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. So I have more respect for the with the brewers from my experience. If
Right.
you know that you know how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they can see you get your hands dirty from time to time, and they know you're not afraid.
Yeah,
And
true, true. But
yeah.
at that time, for me, it was just great because it was not an office job, and as you
Mm-hmm.
know, the brewer job is it's not the brewer job. It's five or six jobs in one job. When you start from
Mm-hmm.
the brew house, it's hot, it's
Yeah.
dusty in the mold intake and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then you go to the cellar where it's cold and
Mm-hmm.
wet, and then you go to the I don't know filtration, dusty
Mm-hmm.
again, and
Yeah.
standing up very early in the morning. Then you go to the filling line or the keg
Mm-hmm.
line. It's very loud and busy and everything. So it's so different jobs in one job, and that makes it
Yeah.
so interesting, I think.
Yeah, you never get bored, I don't think, and you're always striving to, well, represent yourself and your team with the product you're making in a good way, and what can you do to keep everyone happy, and yeah, it's definitely not a boring job, I can say that. It never ends.
True.
So jumping ahead in your life, you then decided to go to Domans um, after some years. Do you feel like, I always thought it was funny when you told me that you went to Domans, because obviously, you're working in Freising, where they have the Technical University of Munich, Weinstefan.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was funny when you told me that. And did you ever feel like kind of a conflict, not a conflict, but like some fun rivalry when it comes up, when the subject comes up?
Yeah, I'm here since 9 years, nine and a
Hmm.
half. So a long time, I think.
Hmm.
But I hear that every time. How can you
Hmm.
be in this position as a not Stefan student?
You're right.
And yeah, that's funny. And the best story was at the beginning when I started and when they hired me
Hmm.
at that time.
Yeah,
Ask also Professor Narcis. Everybody knows Professor Narcis.
of course.
At the moment, unfortunately, he's not here anymore.
Hmm.
But he was the Pope, the
Yeah.
best. And then they ask Professor Narcis, can we hire a guy who's not studying in much Stefan? And they said, okay, if he's the best and you think he's the best for this job, so you have to do it. At least
Hmm.
he's not a burden guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
At the end of the day, it's more important how you perform, how you work,
Hmm.
how is your passion for brewing and everything. At that time, when I decided to go there, because for me there's no better or between Germans or Weinstefan. It's a different approach, I think. So
Hmm.
Weinstefan is more the approach for very scientific. So
Hmm.
most of the people leaving Weinstefan go to the scientific or research industry or the supply industry, like all the big brewing machines manufacturers. We also have
Hmm.
advertising, for example, or for research and everything. And the German guys are normally they worked as a brewer
Hmm.
for years, and then they wanted to learn more. So it's
Hmm.
like a more deeper dive into techniques, and then you
Yeah.
can come back as the classical brewmaster, more or less.
Hmm.
Not for
Right.
research or development, so for brewmaster, like
Hmm.
like doing the on-hand job. So it's a
Yeah.
different approach. But doesn't mean you can't do the other side as well, of course. It's at the end of the day, it's your personal yeah, experience
Yeah.
and knowledge and everything. And how do you, at the end of the day, it's very important. How is your
Hmm.
passion? How is your, I don't know, how you can handle people
Hmm.
and work or with people or lead people. So this is a personal thing,
Hmm.
not an educational thing,
Hmm.
in my opinion. But yeah, for as working as a brewmaster in the middle management thing, I don't know, not
Hmm.
top management like a CEO, but then I think for me it was the best decision to go to Dürmans.
Hmm.
By the way, it's faster. It's very fast,
Yeah.
much more
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah. You're done in a year or two at Domans, right? So it's much quicker than a full degree at
It's
Weinstefan.
it's 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and
And
you
Stefan,
mentioned,
it's around
mhm,
about 6 years, yeah.
yeah, and you mentioned, the great Professor Narcissus, rest in peace. I know you have a couple stories I've heard you tell, and one has to do with one of your beers that you worked on in one of your projects that has to do with the new non-decocted Helles that goes in the can and is
Ah,
exported to the U.S. and maybe it's in a couple other countries, but and how he kind of gave you the smile and the nod that it was a good beer and this was a nice project that you did. Do you have any other stories about Narcissus or having beers with him or sharing a moment with him or yeah, I mean, he's such a legend, so it's nice to hear someone that knew him.
Yeah, true. He's a real legend, and yeah, rest in peace. But he was very inspiring, and he was, yeah, he was like a book. So or better. So he was great. You can ask him everything, and he knows everything. And also when he was over 90, he was
Yeah.
great. He was not tired or old in the head, and that was great. But the most impressive thing was he was so um, down to the earth, and he was so social. So he knows everybody. For me, the first time he remembered my name. So we met him once or twice, and he was
Wow.
somewhere, and he came over from the other side of the room. Oh, Mr. Zollo, hi, how are you? And I said, okay, that's great. And you remembered me because
Yeah.
why? And that was really great. And he knows everybody or knew everybody, and was so down to the earth, and that made him so special. That was the
Yeah.
great. And as you said, the development of the new Helles here in Weinstefan, and we do all our beers in decoction and centuries because of tradition and everything. And then we wanted a new Helles and wanted to have a big difference to our normal Helles. Different approach. Normal Helles, old Helles was like a, I don't know, double decoction, over 5 ABV, a lot of hops, and very for beer lovers. New Helles, the approach was okay, do it under 5 ABV, very smooth, less malts, less hops. And I said, okay, do it in infusion just to have the difference also in color and in body. Not too watery, but just slimmer and more crushable, drinkable than the other Helles. Different
Right.
approach, different categories. So more for the younger people. I don't know. And
Yeah.
that's suggested infusion. And then we also asked Professor Natz, and he was a big fan of decoction, of course.
Yeah.
Also because of a lot of reasons. He said, no, I don't know. I don't agree. Maybe try one decoction, at least one decoction.
At least one, right?
Yeah, not two like you now, but at least one. And I said, okay, I see your point, but maybe it's interesting to just try it. What are the limits? So we have now two decoctions, so let's make it with infusion, just to see the limit. If it tastes watery, okay, then we can do one decoction. But just let me try it. Yeah, okay, we tried. And then we tried with different hops and different mash regimes. And then I had one, I said, okay, that could be fine. And then we tasted it together, and he tasted it. And he tasted the old Helles and the new Helles. And then he said, okay, what was the reason? Yeah. What is the approach? Okay, maybe. Okay, you're right. Kind of infusion, but in this case, I can agree. For this approach, it's the best beer you can have, and the taste is great. And
Yeah.
if you ask me, I don't think it's an infusion. I think it's at least one decoction. And then it
Yeah.
was said to my boss at that time, okay, I can retire now.
Yeah.
Because what can I reach again? What can I reach in my life, in my brewer life? So now I can retire. So that was a great moment for me, of course.
No, it's amazing. And I guess your boss at that time was Frank Pfeiffer, right?
No, it's no. He left when I came.
Okay.
So I replaced him more or less. I was his
Yeah.
successor.
Got it.
Yeah.
hmm
And my boss is still the same. So it's the CEO of the brewery.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's awesome. And I think also thinking about decoction, in North America, we always think, especially for lager beer, the decoction is so important because it does add flavor, but about the shelf life and things like that we've talked about before, and all the stress, the sheer stress and the mechanical stress, and the temperature stress that you add for a decoction. There's some good things that come from that, but also maybe the beer doesn't last as long on the shelf. And I think it was such a good idea from you guys to think of something that could also withstand the exportation and make a good product, many months later, not knowing always the conditions of the beer storage and everything too. So I think that is a cool way to still have a good Helles that can travel very well.
Yeah, that's a big point for us because we are very export orientated. So I think we have almost 70% share of our beer is going to the export, and most of them is going overseas. So not only in Europe, so it's going, the biggest export country is USA, followed by Israel, Australia, Italy, and all the stuff. So a lot of, okay, Italy is close to Germany, but the others
Yeah.
are far away, more or less.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to have beer that ages well or less and travels good.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone knows how old Weihenstephan is, and people know it's at least proclaimed right now the oldest brewery in the world, and that's still existing at least. My question is, what's going to happen in 2040? What is that party going to be like when you reach 1,000 years?
Also a good question. It can only be can only hit a question of it makes sense because you're an American, so we hear the question from Americans.
Yeah.
Even now, already now, a lot of Americans
Mm.
email us and wanted to reserve a table for the big party, and we don't even think about that big
You
party.
don't even think about
But
it.
that shows that a lot of big fans, I want to say fans, are out there
Yeah.
of the beer, and that's so great, and that also keeps you working every day and
Yeah.
trying to make the best beer because there's fans, they're asking 20 years before a party, can I have a table? So
Yeah.
it's really cool. So to be honest, we never thought, or still not thinking about that, but we are sure to, yeah, we have to make a big festival.
And
Maybe
and
a
yeah, you're
very long festival, and maybe I don't know, for a whole year,
yeah.
some events over the year, during the
Yeah.
year. I don't know, for the bock beer time in the spring,
Mhm.
fest beer time
Mhm.
in summer, and some crazy thing in autumn and fall, and something in the winter. I don't know. Everywhere with the special beers, of course, maybe release
Mhm.
or um, bring back again all the special beers we had, or the
Mhm.
collaboration beers we had. So it's just an idea now. So please don't
Yeah.
bring me back to that. But we still don't know. Just
Yeah.
thinking about when having beers.
Yeah. I'm sure I mean, the Braustubel that year would be the busiest it's ever been, I'm sure. So
Yeah,
it'll
that
be
could be. It could be.
yeah. And you're still young. You could still be brewmaster probably in 2040. Let's see.
Yeah, true. I'm
Yeah.
still have to work, and I'm still happy that I may work there
Mhm.
because this is a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
for
so
sure.
often that you can celebrate 1,000 year festival. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, I'm sure you have access to some centuries old brew logs. Was the brewery mostly? And this is something I really truly don't know. Was the brewery mostly making Weissbier? If you go back a couple hundred years, or was it trying to make some dark lager beers also, maybe? Or I'm really not sure how the beers developed over time.
Yeah, the funny thing is that we are now known as a classical Hefeweiss brewery. Also, we do a lot of lagers,
Mhm.
and I think the people know that we can do both, and that's
Mhm.
good. That you're not only a lager or only a wheat beer brewery, and but we became big as a Hefeweiss brewery. But that was not our original thing. But everybody thinks that we are wheat beer brewery from 1,000 years. But the last 1,000 years, there was classical, as we former times you can't I don't know, you couldn't treat the water well. So that's why in this region, Munich, you have dark beers, dark lager beers. That was the tradition. 100 years, more than 100 years. And I think it started in the 19 or 1800, 1900 something, that we could treat water and do proper lagers. And I think it was in the middle of last century that we started with wheat beer brewing. So it's not so long we do wheat beers compared to our history, not so long. So it's, I don't know, 80 years now we're doing wheat beers. But we are more known as for wheat beers than for lagers.
Yeah, I mean, especially
we're working on our lager tradition.
yeah, especially with I mean, if you pay any attention to World Beer Cup or European Beer Star, you guys, I mean, might be one of the most winning breweries in the world as far as just consistency, picking up, I think, the Vitas, the Weizenbock, and maybe a few others like the Crystal Weizen. I mean, they tend to win like every year. It's just crazy.
That's true, and I agree. That's crazy. Yeah, we also always we say that's crazy. So Vitas and Crystal, especially, and also the dark wheat was
the dark wheat
was the hidden champion in the last 2 years or less.
Yeah.
Also World Beer Cup and also in the World Beer Awards in UK, and also announced as the best beer in the world. So that's so crazy. And yeah.
Do you guys have like a special?
So we're not I don't know. That okay, we know that that's normal, so that's not normal. So we're always happy about it because it's special to win it. Yeah, a lot of prizes with the Vitas or with the Crystals. So that's not normal, and we're very happy that people appreciate our taste and our beers, and it's still a blind tasting. So it's not okay. We know the Vitas from Def, and that's great. So let's win that. So no, that's always a blind tasting. That makes it even more special. So we make the difference with taste wise, and that's why I always say to my brewers, that's your price. It's not the price of marketing or sales. It's your price.
Yeah, it is
a special thing about that. And
do you guys do any like special selection of the bottles that go to those competitions, or you just pick whatever, or is there a special like batch that you might taste and choose from?
No, never. We never do that.
That's awesome.
No, we never do that because why? That's cheating.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Then I cannot be happy about. I can't be happy about a prize. What I cheated on. Some people do that, I know, but that's not our approach. So we always think every beer has to be the best beer.
Yeah.
What we can do, and hopefully every brewer stands up in the morning and said, "Okay, today I will brew the best beer." Not only for a competition or for special occasions. Today I want to brew the best beer, and I think the brewers do that, and that's also our approach. And so that's why we said, "Okay, let's do that." Of course, we do always when the price is okay. We have marketing. We have to send beers. Okay, yeah. Let's send us the a crate of every batch of the last weeks. Okay, we have 3 crates. Let's taste 3 Vitas. Okay, this Vitas is good. Okay, this is also good. That's still good. Okay, they're the same. Okay. Okay, then we pick the freshest because it travels 8 weeks. I don't know. So, but it's 1 week more or less. So I don't know. So we just pick it from normal production.
Yeah.
Which goes everywhere. So
well, it says a lot about your consistency as a brewery, you know, and how well you guys, I mean, for people that don't know, I mean, there's probably a lot of brewers listening, but for me, Weissbier in general, like the whole tree of styles that come from Weissbier have to be some of the most challenging. You can make a pretty good one, I think, with doing it a North American way with maybe just a step infusion or a single infusion even. The malts are now modified, but I think the details of getting that beer into the package with a permanent haze, it's a pretty incredible process, the way it's done and the way you can make like a consistent Weiss beer, So for me, it's one of those. And I think in the competitions too, that's why you see Bavarians still dominating that part of the competition. There's very few Americans or other countries that are ever going to win inside there. But it's not something I drink all the time, but I definitely have like a great reverence for Weiss beer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, I think right now we'll go into a quick break. We're gonna come right back for this conversation with Tobias from Weinstefan, and yeah, we'll be right back.
Attention brewers, registration is now open for the 2025 Best of Craft Beer Awards. This is a BJCP sanctioned competition judged by fellow brewers and industry leaders. It uses a unique set of style guidelines that champions harmonious and dynamic beers. Held in beautiful Central Oregon, it's the third largest professional brewing competition in North America and is an opportunity to have your hard work evaluated and rewarded. In addition to traditional and specialty beer styles, new this year is the hop water category. Register your beers through January 31, 2025 by visiting bestofcraftbeerawards.com/register. Don't delay. Learn more and get your beers signed up by visiting bestofcraftbeerawards.com/register.
First Tea invites you to talk cinnamon for a second. Cinnamon evokes so many flavor memories, including apple pie, horchata, and French toast. First Tea has cinnamon and other botanicals you need for that perfect flavor experience you're looking to create. Contact the team at First Tea about cinnamon and their other botanicals by emailing info@firsttea.com. That's FIRSDTEA.com.
I'm David Seiler from Stone's Throw Brewing in Charleston, South Carolina, and I use Malt Europe because they have great products and customer service. The new warehouse has been an amazing upgrade to Malt Europe service, which I really didn't think was even possible. The short turnaround time has been great for me. Being able to pivot and change brew days is crucial to any brewery. The ability to switch things at the end of the week, knowing I'll have grain within a couple of days for placing my order, means I can be much more fluid with my brew days. It has severely decreased my anxiety as a planner, and less stress is such a great feeling. Contact Malt Europe today and visit malteuropemaltingco.com.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Tobias. Let's go into like a technical thing. We've been talking a lot about different, the history and a little bit about you and a little bit about everything, but, trying to not keep it super technical, but I have to get a couple in. So I have a question, obviously with the laws in Bavaria, you're not allowed to acidify. You can acidify, but using like sourgut or maybe sour malts, right? With the way malts have been changing over the last few years, maybe with gelatinization temps and stuff like that, if you see a beer that is fermenting and it's not getting to the desired pH, is there something that you can do to adjust the pH during the fermentation or after, like without breaking the law? Is there something? How do you deal with that if that's ever an issue for you guys?
Yeah, okay. Topic Reinheitsgebot, purity law. It's always a topic. A lot of people say that's a limitation. Others say it's just a marketing gag. I don't know. People talking about that, and that makes it maybe because they're talking about. There's no bad marketing about that because they're talking about. So it is
Right.
marketing. There's marketing. I don't know. For us, it's not a limitation. This is to be, I don't know. It's always hard to say without sounding arrogant, but I hope you don't judge me like that. But I don't think we're arrogant, but we are well educated, and we're happy that we are that, because we know how to brew. We learned that or studied that. And that's why we can do a lot of things with just 4 ingredients.
Mhm.
We have a big variety of ingredients and a big knowledge about technology. and then we can brew so many different kind of beers, like the traditional German styles of beers, like you mentioned wheat beer, you mentioned a lager, helles.
Mm.
The whole word is called lager because of the German word lager, like storage.
Storage.
We have the Pilsner, also the German Pilsner, founded by a Bavarian brewmaster. We have the Rauch beer, the smoked beers. We have the Kölsch and the Berliner Weiss, which is our very sour. And I can mention a lot of beers as well. But so you can see it's a big variety, but just with ingredients or with the purity law. Why? Because you can treat your raw materials, or you can select your raw materials, treat them like I don't know, malt. You can roast them or smoke them. You have a lot of different hop varieties. Yeast, very underestimated. Yeast is the one of the big points you can influence your beer taste. Also water treatment, also very underestimated in the brewing industry. From my point, everybody's talking about hop, and some are talking about malt, but just a few are talking about yeast or water. So that's why we are happy that we have a good education, especially here, Weinstefan, close to the university, because we are on the point. We are talking every day with the scientists on the university, and that's great. That's really great. So that's why we can develop every day different techniques within the Reinheitsgebot. So that's why we are not limited. So we are proud, not arrogant. We are proud that we can have really great beers just with 4 ingredients. Or do it, with, as you said, sauergut. So it's a natural thing from the malt, bacteria from the malt, and then we have to treat them or propagate them more or less in a special tank and add them in the brew house, and meshing or in the boiling or I don't know where. So it's also philosophy. Then handle the yeast management, the big point, handle the yeast, fermentation temperature, fermentation vessels, size, height. So pressure is a big point. So here we can have a big influence on everything, pH, fermentation, byproducts, so taste at the end of the day. And that's why we're happy that we have the technology and also the proper vessels and everything to handle that and to make the beer with the taste we want to.
Got it. Yeah, it's funny also, not funny, but it's incredible the way you mentioned, the university being there. It's like you might have the biggest lab of any brewery on the planet. Like it's almost like that, I guess.
I think so, yeah. Could be.
Is anything you want to think about or come up with or test, they can do everything there. So it must be, yeah, pretty beneficial. And also, I guess it works both ways because the students can come over and probably work in the brewery or at least observe, or maybe they have a thesis or a project they want to work on along with the brewery or with work. Yeah, so it's
That's
pretty
a big
cool.
advantage. So always sharing the knowledge and being on up to date and state of the art and everything. And that's really great. That's a big advantage at this point here.
Yeah, but Domans is still the best, right?
That's not
It's a
bad.
joke. No, I know. Cool. What do you outside of brewing? What do you like to do? You're in a beautiful part of Bavaria. Do you like hiking, or what do you usually do on your spare time?
Yeah, at the moment I'm just, if I have time, I enjoy the time with my family. I have 2 daughters, and that's they get the most part of my time. Also friends and everybody. Of course, we go to the Great Lakes and the great mountains here in Bavaria, and enjoying time here. So it's it's everywhere around. So it's just an hour drive when you're in the mountains. So yeah, the nature is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And even better with a cold beer next to you.
Oh, everything is better with a cold beer.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's the big advantage in the brewing industry. I always say, is when the people say, is it long lasting? People drink less and everything. I said, okay. Everybody is drinking beer if he's happy. And if
Yeah.
he's unhappy or there's big bullshit in the world, they drink even more. So this is
Yeah.
everybody's drinking beer. Always.
Yeah, you're insulated. It's an insulated industry in a way that you have you always have a little bit of when times are good, you have beer, and when they're bad, you also have beer.
Yeah.
So you did this big collab a few years ago. I never got to try it, but with Saint Bernardus, also a great brewery. What did you what was your impression of the final beer? How did that project go for you? Do you plan to do another one anytime soon?
St. Bernard is also great. So we are not doing big collaborations usual. So we had just a few.
Mm-hmm.
We started, I think, a lot of years ago with Sam Adams with a
Mm-hmm.
barley wine, and we had one Sierra Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great collaboration. Great guys. Still in contact with them, so I love the guys.
Yeah.
It was 2018 when we had two, one in Weinstefan and one over there in the brewery. So in Weinstefan we don't have that much collaborations. So I think now it was the third one. It was with St. Bernardus
Mm-hmm.
here in Weinstefan. And I can reveal that we will do also a second collaboration in Belgium with St. Bernardus. And this will come next year, 2025. That was great. It's great. I've been there, I visited them, and people are. It's also a great world. So different to Germany, of course.
Yeah.
As a brewer, you love beer always, and you love the tradition of beer and the different styles. So I think if you're a brewer and traveling around, and you need to be in, of course, in Germany, of course, Bavaria, but also Belgium, Czech Republic, England, USA with the craft beer industry, and a lot of others in the world. They are very special. But I think these are the old traditional ways of brewing or different
Mm-hmm.
styles, which are also copied of a reason in
Mm-hmm.
the world. And Belgium is amazing with this different techniques and everything. So that's why I I don't judge them as a German brewer. Oh, you don't brew according to the purity law, because that I don't care about that. Nobody cares about that. So it's cool that we have that, and it's our unique sales point. I don't know, and we're happy that we can brew every beer we want within the Reinheitsgebot. But we are also big fans of the Belgium guys. What are they
Yeah.
doing with the different yeasts and with the different fruits and everything? And this is really amazing.
Yeah.
And for
That's
this, yeah, for this
go on.
collaboration, that
Mm-hmm.
was the point for the collaboration. We said, okay, Belgium is very well known for the yeast, and
Mm-hmm.
we are very well known in Bavaria for the hops.
Mm-hmm.
Hallertau, biggest hop planting area. So it was very clear that we have to brew a beer with Hallertau hop and Belgium yeast. And then we said, okay, everybody expects that, so we do it on the opposite way. We
Mm-hmm.
take the hops from Belgium, growing close to the brewery. Around the brewery, there's a hop garden, and take the yeast from Weinstefan. So our wheat beer yeast, the yeast we use for the Hefeweiss and for the Vitus, very fruity banana bomb. And we said, okay,
W68.
it's very close to that, but this is a special one. It's called Stefanos. It's just our yeast. What we
Wow.
use since years here in the brewery. You can't buy that. If you do a collaboration with us, maybe we share a little bit of them with you. But this is It's close to the 68, true, but it's a little bit different variety, which is
Yeah.
just for you. So our yeast, our in-house yeast, more or less. And yeah, we said, okay, let's do it in the opposite way with our yeast and their hops. And the brewmaster said, okay, are you sure? Are you sure it works? And said, yeah, okay, let's try. Because let's try it from the technology side. So do it not. We have the Vitus and open fermenters with no pressure, everything. And we said, okay, then we have a lot of Easters, so banana flavor.
Mhm.
Then we said, okay, we don't want a banana flavor in the Belgium style beer,
Mhm.
blonde ale. So okay, let's have it with the pressure, colder temperature, different mash regime, and then we had the spicy notes. So no Easters, but
Mhm.
the phenolic, the glove notes.
Yeah.
Selected some hops from
Mhm.
Belgium, also some hops from Hallertau. So gave more this pear or spicy notes or glove notes. And at the end of the day, and it was so funny reading the comments of the people around the world trying the beer. Oh, it's great. It's amazing. It's a Belgian beer, and I can feel the Belgium yeast and everything. And we just had the biggest fun reading the comments because
Mhm.
we're so happy that the people appreciate the beer. But everybody thought he's tasting a Belgium yeast, but it was the Stefan yeast, and that was okay for us. It was great that we nailed it. At the end of the day, we nailed it. We said, okay, that's cool. We're happy that we made it.
It's great how you can just knowing your raw materials, knowing the yeast, and you can make, maybe you change the mash regime like you said, and you do like a rest at 35 or an extended rest for maybe more ferulic acid or something like that, and then you have more spicy beer, or maybe you're like you said, fermenting under pressure or fermenting a little cooler, maybe changing the aeration or doing something. All these little tricks can can add up to a different beer completely, and you say, is that really the same yeast? And it's pretty interesting to think about that. I have a I have a question I think I know the answer to, but if there was like one day that just one day out of the year that in Bavaria you could brew outside the purity law, is there like a beer style or anything like that that you would consider like making? I think I know the answer to this already, but you tell me.
Good question. I don't know. I'm I'm a big fan of the Belgium style of brewing beer and how they also use fruits in the fermentation. So that's interesting, of course. But at the end of the day, I'm more interested in bringing this flavor in just with the raw materials.
Right.
Um, and if I want to do some beers which I can't do because of we are Weinstefan, we are traditional. So I always say there are two ways of craft beer. One way is the as you know the craft beer industry, like the punk beers with the
Mm-hmm.
fancy labels and a lot of hops and double imperial. I don't know what great beers. I really love them. We drink a lot of them with our friends or if we are in America or Czech Republic and we just collect the beers because we love the beers.
Mm-hmm.
Or stouts. I'm a big fan of stouts, but
Yeah.
we can't do that because we are the other way of craft beer industry. So we're the classical craft beer. So like our Hefeweiss or the Vitus, a pale Weizenbock. For me, it's also a classical craft beer, but a classical craft beer. And we have to be always stable and clear to the customers because the people expect from our side the classical traditional styles of a German traditional brewery. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe we can do a really great double imperial New England IPA, or we can do a great stout. I don't know, maybe. I think if we try it, could be a good beer, but it makes no sense to do it under
Right.
the label Weinstefan. So, but yeah, there are things
Yeah.
maybe I wanted to try, but I can't do it here.
I always think though, if you guys had just for like even just the Braustube, like a small 5 hectoliter, you know, pilot system or something, and you made occasionally like a stout or like a pale ale, I think you have so many international people that go there and go to the university and everything. I think I understand your point about maintaining the brand, but I always think like, yeah, you could have something just very small that almost no one knows about. It's only there, like, and it could be like a fun place to play around.
Yeah, true. And we all still also tried it sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have it also in the United States, just a few barrels, and I think in California with a
Mm-hmm.
Stefan Pale Ale. But we brewed it together with the university and a research brewery in the university, but in a not like a pale ale, like a pale
Yeah,
ale with German hops, so a German style pale ale. And
yeah,
it was fun doing that, but it's not a big seller. It's just to show the people that we know about beer and we can beer. But I think at the moment the people also believe that we can do beer without tasting a pale ale from Weinstefan.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
because we now, yeah, the quality is
yeah. Speaking of pale ales and hops, is there any Bavarian varieties that you're like really excited about? Like I know in the last years we've seen several different varieties come out. Some of them are still kind of small in North America, but is there any hops that you see and you say like that is pretty cool or that's different or I like that one? Or are you still more traditional or what are your thoughts on new hops?
we're always open with new hops, so we always try some new hops, and we also don't have just the classical ones, the old varieties. We also have like I don't know, Saphir, so it's not that very new, but it's not the very traditional classical one. And I'm a big fan of Saphir hop, and we have it, for example, in the new Helles. So everybody said at the beginning, "Are you crazy? We use it for a pilsner or for a bock beer. Why you use it in
Right?
Helles? It don't has to be hoppy." I said, okay, the point with is the where do you use it, which point, and the amount. Because the
Mm-hmm.
big advantage of Saphir is not bitter, it's
Mm-hmm.
just aromatic, and that is great. And it's so I think Saphir is very good for the mouthfeel, for it's very smooth. So
Yeah,
you have it in the mouth and it's so smooth and tender and you just don't want to stop drinking. And that's the
yeah.
good point about Saphir.
I
Or
think Narcisse is talking through you in that moment because I remember him always talking in interviews and stuff in Bavaria about like how the biggest disgrace was these high alpha hops that you need to add less of, and you know all the everything that you're getting from the hops, even the leafy material, is so important in the
yeah,
finished beer, and how we're destroying it by adding a bunch of high alpha Magnum and other Hercules and stuff like that. You know,
Hercules, yeah.
yeah.
Hercules, have you ever tried the Hercules or have you been at the hop harvest in Bavaria?
Yeah,
And
I
the
went 2 years ago. Yeah.
when they dry the hop, when they have the Hercules over there,
Mm.
so that's so aromatic. When you go there,
Yeah.
you don't think it's just a bitter hop.
Mm.
It's so aromatic. And I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of room to play with Hercules when dry
Mm.
hopping because it's so incredible aromatic. And that I think for me, Hercules is a great aromatic hop. But it's considered as the classical
Mm.
bitter hop.
Yeah.
Great for a bitter
Sometimes
hop.
it
But it's
sometimes the classifications are
great
not
aroma.
always.
If you go to
Mm.
the when they dry the hop in the harvest time, wow.
Yeah.
Hercules, great hop.
Well, that will have to be our collab then one day in the next 10 years we'll do a collab and we'll make it at Hercules and we'll make it with Hercules.
Yeah,
So,
it fits to your brand as well.
yeah. We've
We
definitely
use
used it
Hercules
before.
at Hercules.
Yeah, we've definitely done that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So we'll do a quick lightning round, like not super lightning round, but some short questions and short answers. So Tettnang or Hallertauer Mittelfrüh.
Hallertau Mittelfrüh.
Okay. Favorite beer from Weinstefan?
Oh, Hefeweiss.
Oh wow, Weiss beer. I thought you were gonna say Pills. I don't know why.
And Pilsner, of course, Pilsner, yeah. Hefeweiss and
Yeah,
Pilsner.
yeah.
But if
Um,
the question is if the end question
mhm.
is the end enemy, big enemy question is if you
Yeah.
have to decide for the rest of your life
To drink one, yeah.
to drink just lagers or just Hefeweiss, what would you
Mm.
decide?
Oh, I would have to choose lagers. I would have to choose probably Helles, honestly.
And I would choose Hefeweiss
Yeah. It's
because
it's a good choice.
much more flavor and much more everything.
And and
I
and,
love
and when
lagers. I love proper lagers, and I know how hard it is to brew lagers because this is the
yeah.
more challenging than brewing Hefeweiss because there's no excuse in brewing
Mhm.
lagers. That's why it's so hard to brew lagers. No excuse. Hefeweiss, you have some excuse. You have so much flavor. You
Yeah.
can don't see the big difference between the batches, but in Helles lagers, you see every single difference, and
Everything is there.
that's the Champions League. Brewing Helles on fleek, every batch, same quality. And yeah, but
And
still I'm a Hefeweiss fan.
but you said Weiss beer or Hefeweiss beer. Would you choose the? This is another question inside of a question. Would you choose the modern Weiss beer or maybe the older Weiss beer that was more bottle conditioned and maybe had some sediment that fell down in the bottle or maybe not as shelf stable? I don't know. Which one do you like more?
I would choose always the Stefan Hefeweiss,
Yeah.
the tank condition. Yeah.
But good answer. Okay, outside of Weinstefan, if you're traveling around Bavaria, what's your go-to beer outside of Weinstefan? Do you have one in Bavaria?
In Bavaria.
In Bavaria.
In Bavaria, what is not so common, what I get everywhere is I love the Bamberg region with the smoke beers. It's very
Mm,
traditional for them for
mm,
this region, and they are so great. You have to be you have to know the taste
yeah,
to get into it, because a lot
yeah,
of people say it's just like licking a bacon, and I said
yeah,
yes, true, but it's great if you loved it. So you have to be have to be into this this point and yeah, take it. But I love smoke beers. I really love
yeah.
smoke beers.
So,
Bavarian.
Spezial or Schlenkerla, if you have to choose one.
I can't choose.
Yeah,
They're
they're
both
both
great.
really good.
They're both great.
Okay, second to the last question on the lightning round. When you're outside of Bavaria, is there a beer if you're in the US? Is there a beer if you're in Asia? Or is there a beer somewhere else that you say, man, that's the beer I look forward to when I'm traveling? Like,
Uh, Especially for the United States, I'm a big fan because I'm okay. Scott is my friend since
mm,
our collaboration, and I'm a big
mm,
fan of Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing, this New England IPA.
mm,
Big fan. You can't get it here in Europe, or it's hard to get it here in Europe. And when you get it, it's old and it's canned. But when you
yeah,
get the brewery and you have it from the tap, this is amazing. I can't stop drinking.
yeah,
I love this beer. And I love the passion of the guys at Sierra Nevada. So this shouldn't be an
yeah.
advertisement of that, but I love this beer, really.
Well, sometimes you can see some similarities between like Weiss beer and a New England IPA. They're both kind of soft, and there's no sharp edges, and they're fruity. They're they have their own characters that are kind of like similar, I think. But yeah, I think it's amazing how many years they spent developing that beer too. And you say passion, that's one of the most passionate breweries in the world for sure.
It's the best balance between bitterness,
Mm,
fruitiness, haziness, everything. So it's so round. That's also our point. If we brew beer, our big point or goal at the end of the day is we want to have balanced and round beers, drinkable, balanced,
mm,
round. Because this is, I think, This is where you can show that you really can brew. If we make it just bitter or just dark or just smoky, I don't know. Every beer has to be within balanced. And that's why I like beers. They are perfect, more or less.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the hazy little thing. It's the best balance of everything.
Yeah. No, it's such a good beer. Okay, last question in our pseudo lightning round. Talking about barley, Barca or Steffi?
Ah, they are both really, really old.
Yeah.
But if you ask me that, I would say Steffi.
Okay. Yeah, and there's not much Steffi in the world these days, especially in Bavaria.
Yeah, it's also less Sparky, and I think it's hard to get Steffi. Maybe you get some Barky in Bavaria, but Steffi, I don't know. But that was the why I say Steffi, because there was the variety when I started going into the industry. It was the party.
Yeah, that's such a good variety. I really like them both, but yeah, it's hard to choose. Okay, anything you want to say to listeners or fans of Weinstefan? Anything new projects coming up soon that you're allowed to talk about? Anything anything else you should mention about the brand or about you?
Yeah, we are still growing, and we're happy that we are growing. That's because of all the customers out there. They love the beer, drink the beer, buy the beer. So that's why we're still growing. We're happy about that. So we build a new cellar, a really great cellar. So we have to maybe you can Google this new cellar of Weinstefan and see some pictures. But the best thing is come over and visit us, because this is always the big point. Seeing is believing. See the oldest brewery with the newest equipment, and I think it's always worth to travel here, right, Josh?
I totally agree.
Come to the brewery, have a beer. If you're a brewer, just text me. If I have time, I will always make time meeting a brewer. Visit our great beer garden and enjoy the Bavarian lifestyle with the great food and the good beer.
Yeah, well put. And when I did go there 2 years ago, you gave such a great tour, and you entertained all my questions, technical questions and stuff like that. And you had just won the night before EBS, European Beer Star. So I could tell you were had a late night. You were having a good time the night before, of course, winning, and you guys deserve all the credit you get.
Yeah,
so
true.
man, it was really awesome having you today, man. And yeah, I can't wait to make it back. And again, if you're ever in Mexico and you want to come stay at our hotel or hang out in our beer garden, even if for just one afternoon.
I will. I really will. I have less time, but if I'm there, I will call it definitely, because it's always nice traveling. My wife is always complaining of, where do we go? Oh, there is there a brewery close by? Maybe. Do you know the brewmaster? Maybe. Okay, we go somewhere else. Okay, because always a 1 day trip to a brewery.
You could say
She's
that you
always
don't know me,
complaining about you're just hanging around in the breweries. I said, yes, because I love this industry and I love the brewers, and that's why I always welcome brewers. And I think the great thing is we are not sales guys or marketing guys, we are brewers. So brewers have no secrets. Brewers don't have to fight against each other. Brewers help each other, and there's a great community around the world. It also shows this podcast here. So I think the concept of the podcast is great. So a brewer invites another brewer, and this brewer invites another brewer, because the brewing industry is a village. Everybody knows each other. And then it's an endless loop, and you have interesting stories the whole day, every day. And that's great. And it shows how good the community or the connection is between the brewers. Because we all have the same passion, standing up in the morning and brewing the best beer we can on this day for the customers, for everybody.
Well, that's an amazing place to stop. I think those are great words, Tobias, and keep doing your thing, keep making great beer. Can't wait to see you in person again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for the invitation, and I would love to see you over there.
Yeah, we stay in touch.
Yes.
Tobias will be back on the next episode of this show with the brewer of his choosing. That will be in the air in 2 weeks. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Please visit allaboutbeer.com and follow All About Beer on social media. To support journalism in the beer space, check out patreon.com/allaboutbeer. I'm Josh Brengle from Cervecera Hercules.
And this episode was brought to you by Cinnamon. Cinnamon brings a familiar sense of comfort and warmth to cold seasonal brews. First Tea is your source for teas and botanicals like cinnamon that fit the season and unique flavor profiles you're looking for. Email info@firsttea.com. That's FIRSDTEA to find out more.
Attention brewers. Registration is now open for the 2025 Best of Craft Beer Awards. This is a BJCP sanctioned competition judged by fellow brewers and industry leaders. It uses a unique set of style guidelines that champions harmonious and dynamic beers. Held in beautiful Central Oregon, it's the third largest professional brewing competition in North America and is an opportunity to have your hard work evaluated and rewarded. In addition to traditional and specialty beer styles, new this year is the hop water category. Register your beers through January 31, 2025 by visiting bestofcraftbeerawards.com/register. Don't delay. Learn more and get your beers signed up by visiting bestofcraftbeerawards.com/register.
I'm David Seiler from Stone's Throw Brewing in Charleston, South Carolina, and I use Malteurop because they have great products and customer service. The new warehouse has been an amazing upgrade to Malteurop's service, which I really didn't think was even possible. The short turnaround time has been great for me. Being able to pivot and change brew days is crucial to any brewery. The ability to switch things at the end of the week, knowing I'll have grain within a couple of days for placing my order, means I can be much more fluid with my brew days. It has severely decreased my anxiety as a planner, and less stress is such a great feeling. Contact Malteurop today and visit malteuropmaltingco.com.